I think it's safe to say that Emily Henry is basically romance royalty at this point. Ever since her first book, Beach Read, came out in 2020, her career has just skyrocketed. She is one of the few authors that, for me, is an automatic buy. I absolutely love her books. I love the covers. They just instantly transport you to happiness, honestly, and it's been so exciting to see her career take off and look forward to every book coming out every year and just have that to look forward to. Now, as happens when an author kind of gets really popular in honestly such a small amount of time, like it really has only been 4 years, it's quite impressive that she's able to not only continue and build upon that popularity, but consistently put out books every year. I always think like if I were to write a book, I would just be so nervous that I never have any idea for a book ever again. Like I'd just be a one and done, you know, and I would put that enormous pressure on myself to be like, you've got to write another book. You've got to come up with an idea. So the fact that she has consistently put out just these bangers of books that everyone falls in love with is really impressive. And coupled with that, now in the last year and a half, there have been announcements for every single one of Emily Henry's books being turned into either a movie or a TV show. So Beach Read, her first novel, Book Lovers, and Funny Story, which is her latest novel that just came out this year, have all been optioned and are in development to be turned into movies. Obviously with like development, you're looking at a girl who grew up in like the 2010, 2012 peak where every YA book was getting picked up to be developed into a movie. More than 3/4 of those, I would say, never actually made it past scripting stage. So that doesn't mean that we're necessarily going to see all of these, but I think it could definitely bank on the success or failure of how the first kind of ones that get put out do. As we saw with like Normal People, they really push conversations with friends afterwards. Leanne Mority, is that the one who does like Big Little Lies? Once her first one took off, like every book has been adapted to various success. And then we also have Happy Place by Emily Henry, which is her book that came out last year, that is being picked up to be a TV series by Jennifer Lopez, like to produce. So I think that's actually very interesting. I'm always interested to see like which books get the TV adaptation versus which books get the movie adaptation, because I think it can really make or break the format. Like I think some books are better off as movies. One example that comes to mind recently is The Last Thing He Told Me, which I think was on Apple last year, starring Jennifer Garner. That book really just works better as a movie. I think they actually picked it up for a second season, which confuses the heck out of me because the first season was practically the whole book. So I don't know what they're going to add in because I mean, the book is kind of ends on a resolute point. So I feel like there's always this tendency to be like, TV shows are better with books because you get more time to draw out the story, but sometimes a story truly, like, it just needs a movie. And I think these could be perfect rom-coms, like romantic comedies. We are kind of in a rom-com resurge right now with Anyone But You, and then there's also a bunch coming up that I'm super excited for. And I just really am excited that Emily Henry could, like, bring in this new era of like rom-coms, and we're also gonna get to see casting news and everything. I feel like I just haven't been excited about a variety of stuff like this in a while, knowing that like there's the potential for all of her books to be turned into some kind of visual media is just really, really exciting. So the point of this that really got me started on it was my favorite book by Emily Henry is People We Meet on Vacation. I absolutely adore that book, which is kind of surprising, I think, because my preferred like trope is usually enemies to lovers, and she does have that in Beach Read, Book Lovers, and like other ones. People We Meet on Vacation is like friends to lovers, but I think specifically what I think is interesting about it is it's like friends and then they kind of drifted apart and then they're trying to be friends again and then it's back to lovers, and it's just like this whole like messy kind of like relatable drama, I think, and I just really, really like it. Alex and Poppy, the main characters, I think are just so wonderful and so real. And I mean, Emily Henry in general, all her characters are amazing. They just have great aspects and personalities, and they're so funny, the novels and the characters and everything. But there's just something about Poppy and Alex specifically that like out of all the Emily Henry books I've read, their moments stick out more in my head. Like I can quote verbatim, I don't know why, but like romance to me, every level that I hold any person up to in my life is Alex carrying me down a mountain. If you read the book, you know, but like that is just ingrained in my mind for some reason, and it's just so romantic. So if you haven't actually read People We Met on Vacation. Let me give you the synopsis of it, okay? So like I said, the story is about Poppy and Alex, who are best friends from like when they were younger, and they are basically complete opposites. Like Poppy is very much like free, wild, blah, like does kind of whatever she wants, impulsive. Alex is very like straight-laced, buttoned up, doesn't really like leaving places, like he'd rather just read, you know, he's like, I don't want to go anywhere. And as they've grown older and, you know, kind of moved away from each other and stuff like that, they make it a point that every summer they go on a vacation together, and that's like their time together. They go to different places together, different destinations, and it's just really cute to see like the dual point of view of the book of like their old vacations versus where they are now. However, their last vacation, something unnamed ruined it, and they haven't spoken since. It's just been like weirdly awkward between them. But Poppy's been like suffering a bit of a rut, and when someone asks her like, when's the last time you were like actually like really happy and weren't stressed out, she realizes it was on her vacations with Alex. So she invites him out to have like one more vacation and try and, you know, fix everything between them, and stuff comes out about like why they hadn't been talking to each other. They face the kind of truths. There's just like all this awful stuff happening on vacation, like truly nightmarish, like AC broke, stuff like that, trying to deal with it, and also being like, I'm trying to be on my best behavior because this is my friend, but we're fighting, so I can't freak out right now and scare him, but this vacation sucks, but I'm not gonna admit it sucks. It's like when you plan a trip and everything's going wrong and you know everyone's miserable and you're miserable and you're like, I'm not gonna say anything because then everyone's gonna turn on me that this was my idea, and it's just adorable. Like I said, it's dual point of view of like their old vacations when like they were happy, but then also leading up to the vacation that shall not be named when something happened that made them split apart. And like I said, out of like every single Emily Henry book, this is the one that like I remember scenes the most of. Like there's so much that I want to dive into, but I don't want to spoil it for people. So again, I keep being like, again, the reason for this video, but the reason for this video is People We Meet on Vacation has officially been cast as the lead. So this is like most likely shaping up to be the first Emily Henry adaptation that we'll see, and the fact that it's my favorite one makes me ever so happy. And not only that, like I was already pumped, right, that they had a cast. The cast guys literally could not be more perfect for me. So as Alex, we have Tom Blythe, Cornelius Snow himself. He was so good in Hunger Games. I haven't seen him in anything else. I do want to watch Billy the Kid because I've heard he's really good at that, but he's just so good, and I feel like he's going to be such a great Alex, and I'm really excited to see him in more stuff because like I said, I think he absolutely nailed it as Snow. Like Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is one of my favorite movies ever. I think it's like up there with Catching Fire for me in terms of like one of my favorite, if you look at the like Hunger Games movies as a whole. Like I think it's just so amazing. Him and Rachel Zegler did such a good job in it, and I'm so excited to see him in this now because like I feel like everyone can relate when like you love someone like in something and then you immediately want them in a rom-com. Like everyone wants Dev Patel in a rom-com. I would like Mike Faust in a rom-com. He might be in the Hunger Games movie, which is like wild to me because him and Rachel Zegler are like besties. So like her being Lucy Gray and then him being Haymitch, potentially having to deal with like Snow all those years later is because of Lucy Gray is like wild to me to think about, but that's a whole other thing that I could get into. But yeah, he's gonna be Alex. And then the even more exciting thing for me, as much as I love Tom Blythe and I'm so excited for that, is when they announced Poppy. This is what I first saw scrolling through Twitter. Like I didn't even know. And then it just pops up that Emily Bader, which I didn't even think about this, but Emily and Emily, super cute. Emily Bader is being cast as Poppy. And I was like, Emily Bader? Why does that name sound familiar? And then I opened the video to see her casting. It's freaking Jane Grey from My Lady Jane, which has been all over my Twitter lately. I cannot wait to like dive into that and watch it fully. But she, from the clips I've seen and stuff, has first of all amazing chemistry with the guy that plays Guilford, but is so funny, so sassy. Like I definitely feel like she has that spark that you need for Poppy, and I'm just so excited to see these two go like toe-to-toe when they're like not getting along and then fighting and then like turn on the romantic charm. Emily Henry herself, she has a newsletter if you're not subscribed to it. It's Emily's Grocery List, where she kind of just talks about like upcoming things that she has going on, and one of the things she mentioned was that yeah, she saw the chemistry read between them, and she's like, I could have watched it for hours and hours. That's how amazing it was. So I'm really pumped. I also just like, it warms my little heart. I don't know why, it's always been like this since, again, I grew up in that like 2012 era of like YA books being cast, but then it seems like there were always like similar people getting cast in them, you know, like Miles Teller, Nat Wolff, Shailene Woodley was in a couple of them. Like, it was just always a little like kind of fun Easter egg when you were like, hey, they're in this movie and they're in this movie, because it's like, I love them in this and now they're in this. I don't know if like necessarily I'd say like Shailene Woodley and Miles Teller I love, but you know, I didn't have many options back then. Okay, so it was like kind of fun to be like, oh, they're in Divergent hating each other and now they're in this Spectacular now, and their love interest. Like, it's, you know, I was little. So in the grocery list newsletter, she also talks about settings, because obviously a big part of the vacations and people we meet on vacation is like where they go. So they said that like right away her and the director are on the same page if they don't want to use like a green screen or like go to Vancouver and be like, hey, this is really like Italy, wink wink nudge nudge, and like clearly anyone who's been anywhere knows that like that's Canada. So she talked about two of the settings that they're absolutely going to do. One is Palm Springs, which is iconic in the book if you've read it, so I'm very excited for that, and I think it like sums up that like heat and everything like that kind of gets them like more riled up and angry at each other. And then the other one is Barcelona, which I am so pumped for. That's going to be absolutely beautiful to watch and just like see all the settings and stuff like that. I think it's just going to be so exciting, and I'm glad that they both decided to go that route of like actually going to these places, even if it means like, I think she talked about like changing some locations and stuff like that. Like, I would rather it be more authentic and like actually being there and on set than like, again, like flying to like Canada and being like, hey, this is actually a small town in the USA called Riverdale. So it's going to be produced and released on Netflix. They are very much like in the stages right now of like when they're going to start filming and everything. There's no like official release date or anything like that, but I am just so excited. I feel like perfect cast. I love that Emily's so involved in this. It's always great when they have like authors involved, because I feel like then they can get the fans hyped of like, hey, like I'm involved in this. I love this. Like, these are the people that I pictured in my head. Like, you know, I think it's just great that she is so excited for this, but also like she said, she's gonna try and go to set and stuff, get pictures. So I'm just really excited. I feel like you could not have cast two more people that I'd be more excited for. I also, okay, saying that, I really am still holding out hope that Iowa Debray and Paul Mescal are gonna be in one of them. I'm thinking beach read, like that's the vibes I get for them, but I also could see book lovers, but I'm still holding out hope that they are going to be there, because I think like this just excites me now that like there can be like a great casting for every single Emily Henry book that we have to look forward to. So I think this is top notch, absolutely knocked it out of the park on the first go, and my expectations for the rest of them are just completely like hired, because I think this is just so great. I'm so excited. So hired? Hired, yeah, right? Yeah. I was saying hired, and then I was like, am I saying like, you're hired? But no, hired is also a word. Again, another reason that I can't write a book. But yeah, I'm just really excited. I think it's a perfect casting, and I'm just so excited that my favorite book is the one that, again, it looks like we're gonna get first. I'd be surprised, since none of the other ones have casts or maybe even scripts if they get first, but you never know what happens in Hollywood. Like, it could be filmed and then not come out for a little bit. So I'm just really pumped. I'm so excited, and it's like literally if I could have picked any book to get adapted first, it would have been this one. And the cast is just stellar, and I'm just so excited to see it all come together. So yeah, if you have any thoughts about the casting, let me know what you think about it down below in the comments, about Tom and Emily and all of the settings and everything like that. I think they're going to do an absolutely amazing job, and I'm just so excited. So yeah, thank you guys all so much for watching this like fangirly video. I'm just so excited, and I could just ramble about this forever. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It helps me out a lot, and subscribe to this channel if you want to see more bookish fangirly videos. You never know what's going to come. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!